from France.
No way! Like, that's cool.
Yeah,
Normally,
I guess.
most Stalker content creators are from Eastern Europe or something.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, we've got Tommy here. Definitely
Yeah,
Western.
yeah,
Oh yeah, but that's what I love. Like it's just Stalker bringing everybody together.
yeah, exactly. I'll be right back. I just have to get rid of the lights above. Okay. Now I just have to like get rid of the top lights in this room. All right, let me just check a few. Oh, I gotta remind my peeps on Instagram. Damn, where the hell did I put my phone again?
I think it was bugging out.
Oh, I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, go for it. You're good. I never know when to start it, so I always feel like it's good even if it's like a minute or two beforehand. It gives everybody a chance because it takes a while for the alerts to pop that we're live. There we go. Oh yeah, it's because I did the audio update. Okay, perfect. So everything looks good then. Let's go.
Hell yeah, here we go.
Stare,
Nice.
You must have like the best air conditioning. I know it gets hot when you're wearing a suit though.
Bro, I'm from Europe. We don't have air conditioning.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, you have to sweat for this swag. It's like, you want to look good, you have to earn it.
You know, the thing is, the costume itself is quite well made. For example, I have like zippers here and some kind of mesh that actually breathes through, so I actually can't survive in summer in this thing. It's far from being a pleasure, but I have worse costumes. Like my Witcher costume is, I think that's the worst one to wear in summer.
Yeah, I've seen some of your other costumes, and those are you got all the padding and everything. Oh man.
Yeah, it's torture. So this is like my comfortable costume.
The vacation outfit.
Yeah.
I think you said Green Sweet made that suit for you, right?
Nope. This one is from Labash u Borody or Boroda Gear. Either way, both are from Russia, and due to the recent situation, I am not working with them anymore until stuff gets resolved.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of the same scenario that I had with my suit. I got from a supplier, and then the situation went south. And I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that there's no Ukrainian supplier or even like a US or France or you know what I mean, any other territory that makes a replica suit. That's so weird. Like you would think Etsy or something like that has options for Sunrise suit. People want suits, but I did a whole bunch of digging and all I could find was one site that was making a really nice looking Siva suit.
Yeah, the thing is, I have several suits, and since like the most common question I get on social media is, where do I get a suit?
Yeah.
And there is like a demand, and I would love to somehow supply people with suits, but I just don't have the contacts. That's the problem. I have 2 suits that I could simply butcher to get decent patterns and make my own line of suits, but I just don't have the contacts to get a decent production line and distribution running. So
even the simple foam piece for the center, if you were to put it over a Gorka, no one makes the center foam piece. I found one off of eBay because I bought a gas mask from a guy, and he's like, I have some other Stalker cosplay items if you want. I'm like, cool, what do you have? He's like, I have like the Sunrise chest piece. I was like, I'm throwing my credit card at the screen. Like, can I please have that right now? Like, absolutely, because it's like gold trying to get that stuff if you intended to do anything for cosplay.
When actually, maybe I'll consider making the chest pieces, because they're not very difficult to make, and I'm like, the first one that I made went to a friend of mine in the Netherlands, like a real female Stalker cosplayer, and she's having that one right now, so
nice.
Maybe I could start making a few of those.
Oh, I mean, you've got the demand there for sure. That would be such a Giga Chad move. Even if you made like 5 pieces, it'd be 5 very lucky individuals. But cool. All right, I think we've got everybody in here. Let me just go ahead and put a... There we go.
Yeah, maybe after the release, people will get more interest in this, and there will be new suppliers for suits and other Stalker merch. I hope so.
That's a really good point. I hope
so as well.
I think Stalker 2 is going to bring a lot more eyes to the franchise, both in the fandom as well as in like the industry, suppliers, etc. They're going to be like, oh yeah, this is a popular product. How can we capitalize on this? Well, everybody wants a suit. So that would be good to see. All right, so everybody's in here. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to, is it episode 6 now? Episode 6 of the podcast. I have been wanting to get our dearest guest, our newest to the show, S.t.a.l.k.e.r. Costume Zone here, ever since like basically I was going to do episode 3. And then there was that time where we had a lot of trailers and we were just like going through all kinds of material and guests. So we finally have him on the show. Proud to present him here with you today. So for those who know, like there's no one who's more detail and attention oriented when it comes to putting a cosplay uniform together. His Stalker outfit is tremendous. If you've seen any of his press shots, they look awesome. If you've met him at any of the events, you've seen it for yourself in the flesh. Like it's not even up for dispute. This is as good as it gets if you're going to do a tribute. Like my suit is super novice compared to, he's on master mode right now. So we've got him here today. And we've got the man that you all know and love, Anomalous Dugout. He's a fan favorite for the podcast. Welcome back again, Anomalous.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, S.t.a.l.k.e.r., do you want to go ahead and kind of tell everybody who doesn't know a little bit more? I mean, I could just go ahead and gush, man, because I've been a fan of yours for a while, but I'm sure you've got all kinds of stuff to drop on us.
I should just start with the average thing that you see at all my YouTube videos. Привет, Stalkers. My name is s.t.a.l.k.e.r. Costumes, and welcome to this podcast. Yes. Yeah, I kind of started with Stalker cosplay a few years ago. My first cosplay was not that good. I have it somewhere on my page. Maybe we can blend it in the YouTube video later, so you see how I actually started with my very first Stalker costume. But ever since I got in touch with Stalker, I always wanted to be part of his world. The atmosphere of the games just instantly got me hooked, and I never got out of the zone, you know? Just kind of kept me. And that's how I stuck in it for like 8 years now, 7 years now, with this entire Stalker cosplay thing. And at that time, I didn't even know that GSC would ever come back with another game. So they completely vanished for a decade, and yeah, everything is quite wild right now, and I'm very happy to just be in this position that I can be in a Stalker podcast right now with 2 amazing content creators and a community that has kept this game alive for over 10 years now. And I'm so grateful for that, because Stalker is just like my #1 favorite game.
Yep, same. It's really an intense roller coaster, especially, you know, the 2011 era period. That I don't think there was anything more soul crushing. I mean, like, not only did we lose the chance for the game, but like having the studio close felt like, at the time, that was like, it felt like it was the end. It was, and if we only knew what the future held. So when they finally, you know, announced that the studio was opening back up, and they were coming back with Cossacks, everybody knew. They were just waiting for the next foot to drop. They're like, there's no way that they're not going to touch Stalker again if they have the means to do so. So that was like a really intense feeling to finally have that hype machine build up, even just with that first splash page for the first website iteration. And now here we are today. You know, like, I think the community is in probably the best state that it's ever been. I always am sad that I was only like 15 or 16 back in 2007 when I played Stalker, because I would have gladly have gone to like Stalker Fest and all of those other like super. I want to see like Sergey and his brother just like with the guitar on stage and everything, just like the ultimate community vibes. But this definitely feels like a major renaissance in that department. So I'm super happy to be here and be a part of it with you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, it definitely looks like everything is coming together now. So that's really great. Like we've been through dark times, but now like the faithful, the patient will be rewarded. That's great.
I mean, the developers did one amazing smart move before the studio closed down. In 2010, they released the software development kit for Stalker Call of Pripyat. And I think that was a very important move because Stalker was, in my opinion, Stalker was kept alive for 10 years, mostly through the fans and the modding community. And I would say that the development kit contributed to that in a great amount.
If you didn't have the tools or the flexibility to create all of those mods that ended up coming out, then how, you know what I mean, would those mods have garnered the popularity that they did? That accessibility, I agree. I think without that, like Stalker would have always been popular, but it would have been a lot more dormant. Like Stalker, even though commercially it went away for a long time, it was never gone from the community. It was never out of people's minds. It wasn't even out of like the mouse and keyboard, you know what I mean? We were still playing it actively, vanilla mods, etc. But there was a lot more option. There was a lot more like variation to it, so that people weren't like just burned out. There was always something new. You know, you had Stalker Complete, then you had Misery, then you had, you know, Gamma and an Anomaly and Prayer Boy Story. And there's just so many of them. It's like take your pick. Road to the North. Like I could go on and on. They just will keep popping into my head, and they're all really good. And they all do something different or unique. You know, like everybody has like this is what Stalker means to me, or this is what like definitive Stalker is, and that's all like well and good. I think everybody has that. Even I, you know, I'm like a vanilla purist in a lot of ways, but that doesn't mean that like I'll discount like mods as like a bad time. Like I've played a bunch of them. I think they're really great. I like to see the different spins on how people interpret the zone, the stories, creating characters a lot of the times, you know, and so you get like these fresh zone stories. It's almost like kind of like SCP, where like the community comes up with their own kind of aftermarket lore in a way. Like everybody knows what the vanilla stuff is. We've got like over 100 videos of Anomalous Dugout of like, this is the vanilla de facto. Like these are the facts. I broke it down. Like I spent 40 hours so you don't have to answering these questions. Like it's like a library that we have to tap for the vanilla stuff. And then we've got all this other, you know, creative stuff that gets put together. So I love to see that. I think it just makes the community feel more empowered to get creative and do something different if people are going to receive it. So yeah, it's badass. It's good stuff. Now, I don't know how many people have actually seen Kruglov's report. That is a really good video, and it's a couple minutes long. It's not too long. I figured that we could go ahead and run it real quick. Let me go ahead and make sure I've got my source grab.
I think the answer to your question is not enough people.
Yeah, exactly. And so it is super, super authentic to that vanilla atmosphere. There's a lot of people that try to do like Stalker fan videos, and I'm not even blowing smoke right now. This is genuinely, I think, like my favorite interpretation. It's so good. I'm not even gonna like spoil anything. I won't like specifically say like I really like this until you get a chance to watch it here. But it's good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and run that. While I'm getting the video pulled up, it's not just our boy s.t.a.l.k.e.r that participates in it. If he'd like to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about who the lovely lady that he worked with.
Yeah, I have the great luck to have one of the best supporters and fans in my fan base, and that's my beautiful girlfriend, s.t.a.l.k.e.r. And s.t.a.l.k.e.r, it's Polish word for medikit. You probably have one flying around. I don't have one here. Nope, sadly. But you know the Jesus,
little red canister.
Yeah, genau. Yeah. That's where the name comes from, and s.t.a.l.k.e.r is actually playing the female Stalker in this project. Filming this was a mess. It was winter, it was cold, we were really freezing in that old, I think it was a clinic where we were doing this, and we sat there for like 7-8 hours for just like 5 minutes of finished footage. But in the end, I think it turned out quite well, and it also shows what the community can do if they get the right resources to do so, because there are many amazing movie projects out there, and I'm very happy to be able to contribute to this with my small movie.
It is a feat. It really is. Even to like create something like a minute or two long with this production is like a Herculean effort. So that can't be understated. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys. Here we go. This is Kruglov's report.
Get the backpack!
What took you so long?
Doesn't matter.
We gotta go. Now. You know, I can't stay forever.
Oh, well, you guys killed it with that. That was so good. Just watching it again reminds me of everything I love so much. The Oasis tribute, like to the skip, that was prime. And then the way you guys did the light flash coming down the stairs, like, and that single frame all the way to the bottom of the stage. Like, I was getting like Tarkovsky vibes off of that. Even like the cinematography, that was really well shot. The lighting and everything, especially that shot when you guys are going up the stairs and you could see the decay there, but you've got like the depth of field and everything. Oh man, like it's the little details that I think get left out a lot. Like, I can't remember what the name of it was, and I'm not even trying to throw shade. There was like a more recent production, and I'll just say that it looked very Americanized and very actiony, and I feel like it kind of missed the plot. Like if it was anything other than Stalker, I'd be like, hey, good job. But the fact that they were trying to market it as like a Stalker project, I was like, like you guys had a lot of good resources. They needed s.t.a.l.k.e.r to help guide that project, in my opinion. I think that you would have gotten something like just super raw and authentic. That was really well done. Yeah, so I got to give it to you in person, man. I wasn't able to give you this round of applause when I first watched it. That shit kicked ass. It was so good. It was so good, dude. So I definitely wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I agree with Tommy with everything you said.
Actually, it has a few small mistakes in it, and some people in the video actually, just mistakes, bloopers, just small mistakes. And some people in the YouTube video comment section pointed out a few of those. For example, I had no 9mm bullets for my VHS for the Vintares, so I used like American 5.56ers. And of course, people noticed that detail. But this is what I love about the Stalker community. They will take apart everything you make and find everything that like doesn't fit in perfectly. And I love it, people that pay so much detail to it. And that's the challenge that GSC Game World has to face. They have, like, of course, a generation of new gamers that don't know Stalker. And they have the generation, like, that grew up with Stalker and might be a little bit, I would say, heuristic about the games. Maybe including me.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a degree of neuroticism when it comes to the way we approach Stalker. But I think it's all in the intent. Like if I saw something like that in the video and I pointed it out, it's like out of fun. I'd be like, hey, nice, what'd you do, re-rifle it or something like that, like wink wink nudge nudge. But yeah, if anybody actually was like, oh my god, you actually did the caliber, then it's still funny. I don't know, I end up still laughing. But I do enjoy that stuff as well. Like you can't help it. Like the amount of detail that people are willing to put in. It's like you said, GSE knows that, but I think they're way more detail oriented than people give them credit for. And especially in like when they show us media, they like to show it in small snippets. And there's like a reason for that. It's because it's always layered. There's always more than when you first look at it. And so when it saturates in your mind and you linger on it and you digest it for a little bit, you're like, wait, there's more going on here. It could be even something as simple as the little poppy field clip that they did on the Steam discussion or the Steam news page for the deep dive that shows like the hand going through the poppy field, the gladiator reference. Mm-hmm. It's like there's so much emotion in that scene, and it's really a quick bit, but it tells you a lot. It tells you, like Shadow of Chernobyl, there's going to be these key moments where you will get a cutscene that is not from the player's eyes, and it's not in that moment. So it's framed very dramatically for a reason, like anytime it was in the original game, it was because s.t.a.l.k.e.r was having a dream or something that was like really profound, that was moving the story forward by sometimes dipping into the past. So it kind of makes you wonder, because we're already trying to figure out more about who Skiff is, what his backgrounds are, what his intentions are, and I love that. And you notice in all these gameplay clips, he'll be wearing different suits in the gameplay, so it can be difficult when you see something like that with the poppy field, like, oh, whose hand is that? Is it Skiff? Is it another character? Like, but the community, that's not going to stop people from like immediately doing the Charlie, where like they've got the note board and they're like, they start writing like 100 things down. They start taking drawstring and connecting the dots, and they're like, well, actually, if you go into Call of Pripyat, this one quest line actually reveals this one random piece of information that ties back into this, which it's so good. Like, yeah, it's that I could never do it. I just don't have I can't think of that many things like connecting together at once. And then you have Anomalous casually just whooping ass in like an hour and a half video, and I'm like, oh man, I feel like I understand this game so much more now because of people like this who have done the homework. I wouldn't have even begun to think about questions like how big are these zones, you know, based on the sequel and the space and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. But all right, so we know the deep dive is coming on Monday. We're all hyped. It's ridiculous how hyped that we are. It's 2 days. Well, it's not. I don't even want to say 2 days because you don't even count the day that it's happening, right? That's not a waiting day. Or today, it's a day and a half now at this point.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's in 48 hours approximately.
Yeah.
He's like, I have my watch set.
We can count the seconds now. Yeah, but it's pretty crazy how like a 2-second clip, like you said, like can spark so much discussion and theories in the community. So I can't even begin to imagine what it's gonna be like on Monday. Yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
It's supposed to be 45 minutes.
Yeah, so GSC said we're gonna get more than 30 minutes of information, but like the schedule for the event is 45 minutes. So I assume there's gonna be like maybe a small presentation, like general information that is kind of useless for us at the beginning and maybe at the end. But like the core thing is gonna be around 30 minutes, I guess.
That still feels like...
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. If you think of like all the marketing material in the form of trailers that we've gotten up until now, I don't even think that would total 30 minutes. That's
I mean, Mollit said in one of his messages that it's like the biggest like drop of info they've made like ever.
Yeah, a number of them have made comments about just how excited they are for the deep dive. It definitely seems like both internally and externally, the hype for this is really high as like this is the event. Like Gamescom is coming later and there's a plenty to be excited about, especially if you get a chance to go. Oh, you guys are lucky. But the deep dive, yeah, this is really, I think, going to be the first big public showcase that kind of puts to bed a lot of like old rumors and stuff like that. I think there's always going to be a small degree of people who are going to be like cyberpunk naysayers, you know, because even if they show everything and it looks incredible, there's going to be somebody who's like, I still don't believe it's real. Like until it's in their hands,
pre-rendered.
It's pre-rendered. They spent a year making this trailer, not actually making the game. It's like you will hear the most out-of-pocket takes. Like we all know that. It's fine, but we're so close now to it being in our hands that I can't wait. I feel like this is going to be the chance for them to be like, this is what you've been waiting for, and like they know the expectations are so high, and they have clearly so much reverence for the product, and they're willing to delay it. They're willing to do what needs to be done to make sure it comes out the right way. If they're not happy with it, I don't think they're going to ship it. And so if they say that they're ready to ship it at a certain time, I'm on board, baby. Let's go. I mean, people said a million things about Shadow of Chernobyl when it came out, but guess what? It's still my number one favorite game of all time to play to this day, and it's held up that way for 16 years. So nothing ever comes out perfect in the artist's eyes. You know what I mean? Like that's the great debate of life. Yeah. You're trying to.
It doesn't need to.
Right. It's like you're trying to leverage time, quality, and speed, because a product has to be made within a window of time. So if they discover along the way that they want to add new things that they get excited about, it's like, oh, well, this wasn't in the original plan. Does this mean we can't do it? But no, they're so talented that they said, no. If we want to do something, we're going to make sure it gets put in there. Like that's to be admired. I think that there's a lot of critical criticism that, like, it's fine. Skepticism is fine. That's a valid opinion for people to have. But I see some stuff that makes me upset, and I'm like, no. Don't treat my people like that. These people are extremely talented. That needs to be acknowledged at every possible avenue.
But I can drop something.
Ooh.
Regarding the thing that everything is pre-rendered. If you go through the trailers, not everything is pre-rendered. In the trailers, we have at least one scene that I remember playing at last year's Gamescom. At least one.
I mean, for those who know, because there's a number of people, including myself in here, we know that it's not pre-rendered. We know too much about the project technically to think otherwise. Like it's just absurd. It doesn't even really logistically make sense for them to do that. There's a reason they show you very small vertical slices, Because, I mean, think about this. The game's not even out, and how many lore videos already exist on the subject? It's like people are chopping at the bit, and they're really smart, and they'll connect the dots. So when you want people to be excited and engrossed in the story and wondering, what's happening at the next twist and turn, you can't do that by, like movies do that all the time these days, where they put a trailer out and they just show you the whole movie. And I was like, okay, thanks. I guess you just saved me $12 of like going to the theater because you gave me like almost like the whole thing in a Cliff Notes version. It's like, you don't want to do that. That's bad marketing. They know how to build intrigue, enticement, like everything that needs to be there. I think really at the end of the day, all that matters is like, well, what do they ship? If it's a great game, then none of those discussions even mattered. And if not, then that's a different universe, and we're not living in it, so I'm not worried about it anyway. But yeah, it's basically that's my opinion on the matter. As far as what we expect from the deep dive, yeah, I think we're gonna get like the world overview. They've obviously said they're gonna do like a mission walkthrough, and I jokingly in the Discord kind of laid out like a mission. I was like, it starts with the camera fading in. It's the Zalicia bar. Like Skiff finishes taking a shot. He slams it on the counter. The guy next to him says, I know you'll get the job done right. And he starts going out of the bar and he goes into the forest, navigating an anomaly field, showing the detector, grabbing a fireball along the way. But then he gets ambushed by some bandits, so he runs into a building and exchanges fire with them, and they have like, a quick skirmish. But just like little sections like that they string together to give you kind of like the vibe of like what the core loop is going to be. Because if they give you a single mission walkthrough, I feel like it's going to have a little bit of everything. A little bit of PDA, the inventory, the looting system, the combat, the exploration, the environment, things like that. I'm kind of curious what you guys think that's gonna bring with the deep dive. What do you think we're gonna see?
At first, I have to admit, I'm a little bit nervous. Like, not in a negative way, but in a way that I would wait for a friend to perform something he's practiced for quite a long time. I don't, like, you just don't want to see him, like, fail or something. And I don't think we will fail. I think they will give us an overview about the game, like I said. And I wouldn't be surprised if they would also try to point out the benefits that the Unreal Engine brings us now in the game. Because we have to be honest here. All nostalgia aside, X-Ray Engine was special.
Yeah.
It was special. It was an
nice
experience.
Way to put it.
Yeah, it was an experience, and I would say X-Ray Engine is just part of the original Stalker experience, and Unreal just changes things a lot, especially when it comes to the gunplay. And I hope that they will put a spotlight, especially on not only on the atmosphere of the game, but also of the new technical features they can provide us. Because I think Stalker 2 is ready to be part of, the big players on the market, especially when it comes to the technical part of the game, like the gunplay, shooting mechanics, user interface. That felt quite good, and I hope they will point that out. And maybe we'll get some info on few, maybe not all, but on few key characters that we will encounter in the game.
Yeah. As for me, from the overview, I would really like to see something about the new A-Life system, because that's something that is heavily like marketed and people are really waiting GSC around the corner for this. But we've not really seen it in any of the
That's true.
trailers. Like, of course, we've Zach talked about it, for example, in interviews and stuff. But we apart from people who played the demo, the others haven't really seen it. So I think that could be a great thing to show. And from the quest, just general things. For example, how you interact with NPCs, because that's the same thing. People who played the demo have seen how the dialogue boxes and stuff looks, but the others haven't. Same thing with looting screens and inventory screens and stuff like this. And yeah, I think they're gonna show a bit of everything, like maybe navigating anomalies, getting an artifact, fighting both human characters and mutants. And also, I'd like to see some underground locations a little bit. Maybe both outside and underground.
Ooh, maybe a labs.
Yeah. And what I would love to see is some background stuff, like the production process of the game, because I think GSC suffered a lot of challenges in the past years, especially because of the war, and I would like to see how the war actually impacted the production process and development process of the game, and how they managed to actually get hold of Unreal 5 engine and transfer everything that they had in the past somewhat authentically to like present times, not only when it comes to the technical aspects of Unreal Engine, but also when it comes to atmosphere, lore. But I won't even start talking about the lore because the expert on lore stuff is here with us.
Yeah, I mean, in the announcements, they said that, like in the first announcement, it was said that they're gonna show some interviews and also the overview of the world and the uncut gameplay. And in the following announcements, they didn't say interviews anymore, but behind the scenes. So I think we're gonna get a behind the scenes segment with small interviews of like developers and people who worked on the game sprinkled in. So that's gonna be great, I think.
I think this would very much be in line with the previous dev diaries that we've seen. Yeah. They kind of have a format for like how they like to show that type of information. I think back then they weren't wanting to show as much of the project. They're closer to release now, so it seems like the NDA is starting to slightly lift. I'm sure after, you know, Monday that'll be even higher because they'll have showed so much more. And, you know, we'll talk about how I think that relates to Gamescom as such. But you guys both made really good points. I think, you know, to Starian's point, the move from Unreal Engine 4 to 5 was a really big decision for the team because obviously they already had a time frame in mind for the project, and that was going to be a huge setback even before we start talking about a global conflict, right? It's like kind of like adding insult to injury. You're like, all right, we're gonna take this major time add, but it's going to really make the project come out better in the end. And then after they've committed to that, they just get walloped with another like out of nowhere situation that is then going to move things back. But there are silver linings to everything. And I'll say this, going to Unreal Engine 5, there are a lot of players on the market that are now bringing Unreal Engine 5 products to market. And they have quirks like Unreal Engine 4 games did when they first came to market. Pretty much all the way to end of life. I mean, we all know about shader pre-caching and microstutter and things like that. On Unreal Engine 5, in recent times after 5.2, got a lot of CPU optimization. And we know that GSE is, you know, going to be using state-of-the-art plugins, technology for their Unreal Engine 5 version of Stalker 2. So it makes sense that they have more time to be able to refine that product because I don't know what version it's going to be when it comes out. Maybe it's going to be 5.3, 5.4. Who knows? I mean, only they know at that point. But I think had the game come out sooner, it would have been almost impossible to get the level of polish that they're really trying to seek. So where some people look and say, oh, you know, these delays, like there's trouble, you know, with the game development. I don't really think it works like that necessarily. I think that they look at what the technical roadmap is for Unreal Engine, and they're saying, all right, well, there's going to be a lot more growth and polish on, you know, the tools and everything that we're implementing for the game. It makes a lot more sense for us to release this in another year and a half so that we can have that support in the long term for the game, for modding or otherwise. We know they have DLC and all kinds of stuff planned. So they're looking at this as a long-term product. If they rush it to the market and it's not mature enough technically where it needs to be, that hurts them even more in the long run. That doesn't make any sense. So, you know, it's interesting because there's been a handful of games that I've looked at the history of development in the past, and when you have situations like that, it does allow some of the developers additional time to make things that they wouldn't have otherwise, like the art team and stuff like that. So you're going to get like all these additional flourishes and touches that you may not have had otherwise. Like a delayed game, you know, a good game that gets delayed comes out good. A bad game is bad forever, and nobody wants that. And I think GSC knows and feels that pressure more than anybody else. They're the ones making it. They're saying that this product is a representation of our talents and who we are. Hell yeah, they want to make a kick-ass 10 out of 10 game. So whatever decisions they're making, I don't really question in that way. They feel they're doing what they need to do in the best interest of the product. So the Unreal Engine 5 technical advancements, I think they're really important for this type of game. Nanite the level of foliage in the zone and the advanced geometry, like you can see how rich these environments look, especially with Not a Paradise, I think is probably one of like the greatest examples in a trailer form. Just the artwork, the lighting, the volumetrics, even in like a daylit environment, like you can see in like the Pripyat overhead scene, the rooftops, like the way that the grass grows between the cracks in certain locations, there's a very much extra attention being put to areas that like 90% of players might not even see, but we will, you know, and they have the same set of eyes that we do. They're looking at it more intensely than even we are. I agree with Anomalous as well. I think A-Life is the one huge elephant in the room that it's been talked about. Not even, I would say, a lot, but it's been brought up more than a handful of times since that first website and the cliff notes of like, this is what we're targeting for the project. 64 square kilometers, A-Life 2.0. Like, that was how they described it from the jump, is this is a next major stepping stone in AI. Because let's be real, let's be frank, other than X, right, other than the original Stalker, who was killing it with AI? Fear? That was it. Like, those are the two big games I can think of from the mid 2000s that were really pushing AI. And before that, people always bring up like the original Half-Life with the Marine HECU AI. Like, there's always been a handful of like these really good examples of AI, and they've always been done in more traditionally smaller environments. So, you know, they might have more objects and stuff that they can interact with to get that dynamic element. But like Stalker 2 is cranked up to 11. Like, even if you take that original formula from Stalker 1 and apply it for Stalker 2, how does that look? How does the A-Life react to that? Even Anomalous's interview with GSE, I think one of my favorite comments that they've made so far in all of their interviews is how they had this story cutscene playing, and the AI are in the background getting into firefights with mutants and stuff. And it's all of these situations that are dynamic playing out, and you have to figure out a way to get that to play nice and do all those tricks as a developer that you do without sacrificing the cleverness of the AI, allowing them to still be very dynamic. You know, I always like bringing up Morrowind. Morrowind was not afraid to let you do whatever you wanted. If you killed a key player, they're dead. That's fine. It just says you forever have damaged the world, like revert to a previous save or forever be boned. Like, but they let you make that decision for yourself. I'm not saying I want like the same exact approach to narrative for Stalker. I don't kill Richter, please. I don't want the ability to kill Richter. Don't allow me to fire the gun if the crosshair is over him. That's okay. I give you a total pass for that. Richter love. But it's the idea of, I really would like to see if I'm on a companion quest or something where the AI not only says unique lines that give themselves character, but handle and deal with situations with a unique approach. It really would be a chance, like how do you visualize A-Life 2.0? Is it an NPC saying, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear this building out, cover my 6, or something as simple as that? And then they actually go and navigate it in a way where you can go ahead and follow their lead and give more agency to not playable characters, but increase the depth of those narrative experiences, even for a side quest, not even like a main quest, so to speak, just drawing you closer to those characters in the world. Because in the original games, it was their dialogue, you know? Like, Cardan's always just smashed on Vodka and telling me to like bring him stuff and everything. He's always just a good vibe when I get back to the Skidovsk. I know I'm going to be like, hey, what's up, dude? Like, are you awake? Can you repair some stuff for me? Like, it's like you develop those own relationships that you have with characters. And I think A-Life 2.0 in a theoretical could really expand a lot of those gameplay ideas. And I hope we see that on Monday. I agree. Even if it's just seeing the like they had confirmed that the mutants were going to have dens and caves. It like leaked out onto one of the product pages, I guess, like before it was like supposed to come out, and then it was more or less like a confirmed thing after that. So we've never seen that before. I would like to see something like that and see how the AI reacts. It was fun in the original game how the boars would stick together, but they would sometimes, you know, have issues with each other or other mutants and everything. And you're just a fly on the wall, like looking through the binoculars, like, this is cool. This doesn't even involve me. You just want that feeling of, I'm a very small gear in a very big machine, and it's indifferent to me, and I have to play by the zone's rules or it will punish me very quickly. Like most games, it's all about like, oh hi, like it's Disney World effect where like everything's tailored to you. We want to give you the most cinematic experience. It's like no. I want to feel like I'm being dropped into a world that is just like lush with madness, and I have to figure out how to navigate it, not something that is revolving around me all the time. So I think that Unreal Engine 5 advancements over 4, A-Life 2.0, like you put those two things together, you have a recipe for a really good pie. Like this is it's 48 hours. Like I can feel it. It's like palpable. The excitement is ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think they pretty much nailed the AI in Call of Pripyat, like the A-Life. I mean, it could use a bit of improvements, but it was already like very advanced. But the biggest challenge I feel like would be to upgrade this to the new open world.
Right.
Because with smaller maps, it's obviously much easier. But with the big ass map that they're gonna bring, it gets very complicated. So I'm really looking forward to see how it works. Like, can NPC will maybe the map will be like split into actually smaller zones, but like that the player doesn't see, but just for the A-Life, like NPCs will be restrained to smaller areas. Or maybe not, and maybe an NPC can just decide to like travel all the way across the zone. That would be pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, scheduling almost like, do they have their own paths and schedules that they adhere to, or do they kind of migrate to a localized area?
But imagine being in the end game and just seeing the damn rookie that you saved an early game from Medikit with his stupid rookie jacket and the sound of shotgun coming to you in the middle of nowhere.
It would be so cool if there was like an event like the original Shadow of Chernobyl where like the north opened up and everybody was like trying to rush to the center, like in Stalker 2, but less as like a scripted thing, and just like a ton of AI trying to rush an area for rare loot or otherwise. Just like it would be really interesting to see. Kind of like every Stalker was iterational, and GSE was trying to get more towards that dynamic A-Life vision that they had. And I agree with Anomalous. I think Call of Pripyat is the best iteration of that for sure, as far as like a display for A-Life. God, I almost just like, I don't know why I just like brain farted and like lost my thought there for a moment.
No, but it's you caught up many important points. I'm right now working on a video on the Stalker series, and some of the things you said I also had to repeat in this video because A-Life gives, and the world being like prepared for you, gives the Stalker games their replay value. Because I mean, we all probably can recall situations that just happened completely randomly and that we cannot reproduce, but were highly unique. I remember being stuck in I think it was at Darkscape. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But at a gas station, I had to seek cover because a blowout was coming and there was no place to seek shelter elsewhere. So I had to go into this gas station. But at that point, mercenaries were sitting in the gas station. Of course, modded Stalker. So I had to shoot my way through the mercenaries to get into the gas station. But when I got into the gas station, I just noticed I'm not the only one trying to seek cover there. And I had to defend this gas station. Meanwhile, a blowout was going out around it. So it was just, I was bleeding, I was hurt, I was seeking cover like in the kitchen, completely on the floor with my gun, aiming at the door and just being completely shocked and afraid whatever might just come in through this door in the next seconds. And those are the moments that Stalker creates just, randomly, but that give it this unique replay value because other people might not have experienced this.
It's true.
And
the blowouts are a really good
for
mention.
Everyone.
Yeah, that's easy to forget. But when you have a big world like this time around, the blowouts have the ability to really shake things up in a much greater scale than they had previously. And I want to see how that plays out. Even like you said, like being chased into that gas station. There's so many situations you could, or there's so many approaches you could take to that. If the mutants are right on your butt, you just run right through and let the mutants start messing with the mercenaries too. You just create pure pandemonium. You're by yourself. Maybe you run out the back door, let that situation handle itself, and shoot anybody that comes out the back. Or just pull out the shotgun and get to dancing with everybody like inside the gas station. There's aggression, the stealthy, a mix of the two. The game really does accommodate a myriad of play styles to it, and that all of that really does tie into that replayability. It's really impressive because there's not many games that really master that, and here we are in this day, 2024. There's a lot of great games out there, but there's really only one Stalker. There's really only one Stalker. Like, people are like, oh, what games are like Stalker? And they say Metro. I'm like, no. You're just, no. Like, maybe like they're both Eastern, but that's kind of like the beginning and the end of like where it ends.
Dominated by big oily men.
But very different games, and that's perfectly fine. You know.
Tommy, don't read the chat.
I'm not reading.
What the chat?
No, it's the TTS. Don't worry about it. So what do we expect to see from Gamescom after the deep dive? I mean, we know that there's going to be demo ability for people to play again. I think it's going to be a lot less restricted as far as to the public, especially if like they're going to show us 30 minutes of the game on Monday. Then I would expect this time around at Gamescom that they'd be a little bit more liberal with the footage that they show of people playing the game, for example. At least that's my guess. I'm curious what you guys think.
I wasn't allowed to show anything after Gamescom. Like last year, I have worked at Gamescom as a walking act for GSC Game World, so I hung out there like all the time, the entire con, and I got to see people playing it. Played the demo several times, but I wasn't allowed to take any pictures or show any gameplay. But I hope they might just give us the opportunity to take a look at gameplay and maybe show some live footage on the trailers.
When you're at the events and you're doing the promotion, the fans, like, I'm sure you get plenty of people that live in the area, but I'm sure they also come from all over the place. Like, I'm curious, like, how many people do you usually run into? I'm sure everybody wants to like take a photograph and everything. Like, what's your experience like at the events? I'm not fortunate enough to have been able to go yet. I really plan on it one day. But I mean, yeah, I'd like to hear more about like what that experience is like.
Oh, it was insane. Like, I couldn't think about it like years ago that I would ever collaborate with GSC Game World on Gamescom. That was like insane childhood dream that came true. And Gamescom itself was absolutely crazy. Not only because the queue, I will start with the queue. Like, Gamescom had a queue, you know, like the average games convention queue, where you just stand in line for like 3 hours, 5 hours. No, there's like a 7-hour queue for Stalker, and it gets even worse. The 7-hour queue was full, so Xbox staff made a second queue at the complete corner of the hall for the queue, and people were in that queue.
They thought everybody wanted to play Starfield. Oh, how wrong they were.
Yeah, it was insane how many people came to play Stalker, and to some I just said, hey guys, you know, if you won't play Stalker, if you come in tomorrow, skip everything, come here, get in the queue, and you will get to play the game.
Oh, that's
because
awesome.
It was insane. We had one dude actually practicing his guitar skills in the queue and playing songs. We had people from all over the world. Of course, we had many Ukrainian Stalkers with us, which was a pretty cool experience. Awesome. I remember one guy sitting there with me at the campfire, like with an artificial campfire, and singing Pachka Cigarette.
Hey, Kino! All right!
From Victor Tsoi. And while he was playing the guitar, that was cool. Like, and since I speak Polish and he speaks Ukrainian, we could like talk to each other because languages are very similar.
Oh, and so cool.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Like, there was always a queue, there was always people coming. Of course, press were there talking to the devs, talking to the team, and it was just an insane experience.
The displays are really good looking. They really, they don't skip a beat. Like, they're really beautiful. Do you get to see when they put it all together, or is it already put up?
No, I came when it was already prepared, so I didn't have to do much. I just put in some stuff, like a few of my artifacts here that I.
Oh man, that looks sweet.
Display.
Oh,
and some.
I've got some that are 3D printed, but they're blank, and I haven't painted them. I'm going to send them to you to paint.
Yeah, so I just changed some things. I rearranged a little bit to just make it more suitable for taking pictures with people. But it was every day, 8-9 hours of, I would say, talking to amazing stalkers. Some rookies, some very experienced. Like you had some super experienced people there.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I remember one
Passionate
guy.
bunch.
Yeah, definitely. I remember one guy when I was giving out energy drinks in the queue because people were waiting really long, and I just was like, yeah, let's just give out some energy drinks, and I wanted them to do something for it, so I just asked them a few questions. Like some were more difficult, some were easier, and to one guy I asked, yeah, what's the original name of the first machine pistol you get in the Stalker games? And he told me like, yeah, it's the MP5 in real life, it's Viper in Stalker, and in Ukrainian it's this and that. So he could like, this guy was a walking library on Stalker, like Anomalous Dugout is. Like
That's
he could probably tell
amazing.
me the entire lore of the games.
Nice.
Dang.
Yeah, and you're going this year as well, right? To
Wow,
Gamescom.
you got me very quiet. Quite
You don't.
confident.
So for any comments on the future, Starian, you don't have to say anything. You can NDA rock us whenever it's convenient for you. If we add something that's a little bit too unaskable.
Nah, it's not spicy. Like since GSC Game World announced that they are coming to Gamescom this year, of course I will be at Gamescom as well.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I'm more than happy to see people from this chat, from your community, and of course from my community and from all over the world to join this. I'll be hosting a community meeting. It's nothing official. It's just like stalkers getting together on. Now let me look it up so I don't mess
That makes it
up.
official.
So on Saturday, 2 p.m. in Hall 8 at the Xbox area, there will be a community meeting at Gamescom. So if you go to Gamescom, come around, say hi. We're gonna take some pictures. We're gonna share some snacks, and maybe there will be some loot. No promises, but maybe there will be some loot.
Oh, nice.
I hope to see as many stalkers as possible on the event. Just don't bring guns because Gamescom and guns is always German gun laws, you know.
Yeah.
Party poopers.
You had the. I was gonna say, did you ever bring your no?
Nope. I got my. I got them right here.
Yeah, I was gonna say
something else with Hotline Miami.
Oh, nice.
But I just can't.
Starian, I wanted to ask you because I saw the picture in the background there. It looked like it had the flame background. Did like a fan make that? Like it looks like.
Yes.
Can we see that? That looked really good. I wanted to see more of that. Oh, there she is.
Nice.
There she is.
There is.
Gorgeous.
My beauty.
It looks like you just pulled that right out of the Time for Opportunities trailer. That's crazy good looking.
Yeah, I try to stick as close to the game as possible, especially with the tourniquet here.
No, I couldn't tell.
I got from Ukraine.
No, you think?
But that's.
Dude, it looks like you just robbed the stalker in the zone for that. It looks like you just got him good. Oh,
man,
that thing is perfect.
I wish I could take this thing to Gamescom. I love this baby, but unfortunately it will get more difficult. I will take...
the ward is going to come after you if you do that, yeah.
Yeah, right now I'll take my bear detector for it, but this thing is right now looking like that.
Oh,
because
dang.
I'm getting this one functional, so it's like my side project. But yeah, we got this one.
Yeah, that one.
This one is...
Or no, the one, not that tiny one. I could barely even see that. I was talking about the one that it looks like it has like a light or a flame. Yeah, that one.
Pick that down. This is actually from an artist. Sadly, I just can't recall her name right now, but she made that, posted it on Instagram, and I saw it, and I was like, yeah, I need this.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That looks great. Very cool.
Damn it. Oh, wait, I have a camera up here, so I can...
Hell yeah.
Nice. Heck yeah, dude.
Stalker
community is one talented, funky bunch, dude.
It's insane. Like, we have so many people that do amazing artworks. I can't draw. Whenever I draw something, it just looks like, someone who can't draw just try to draw. It's a sad approach. So I leave the drawing to the ones that actually have more talent than that.
Now let me ask you, because when you're at the events, you're meeting and greeting, you're doing your thing. When do you get a chance to play the demo? I mean, there's a long line. I mean, how does that work for you?
Well, since when you are part of Gamescom exhibitors, you get in earlier than everyone else.
Gotcha.
Of course, because everything has to be staffed. You can't just like come in when everyone comes in. So I'm already at the location, and I normally sneak in either when the event ends or when it starts, so I don't take away time from the people that want to play the game and maybe waited 6-7 hours in line. But that would be insane.
Were you able to complete the demo and get to the anomaly part at the or the storm at the end when they pull Skip through the door? Or did you hit a timer? You were able to get through the whole thing?
Yeah, I played through it, and I kind of took like the most likely the worst route possible, because I took the one with the bloodsucker.
Oh, wait,
they're different. Like, you have to play the demo several times to see all of the content. That's quite a smart choice of GSC. And I, of course, took the side quest with the bloodsucker. When I played it, I noticed like GSC stuff standing behind me, like looking over my shoulder when I played, and I thought, damn, I can't mess up right now. So
the pressure's on.
The pressure was on, but luckily I took all of my Stalker experiences and lured the bloodsucker into a narrow part of the ruined building I was standing there. And when he tried to, of course, run towards me, I completely dumped an entire magazine of my AK-74 into it, and that was it.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I was peak pressure.
But at least you got the upper hand. Did he smack you? Did he knock you down at all during the encounter?
No, I just completely sprayed him.
Oh, gangster. He said, "No, I'm staring, baby." I took him down. Took him right down.
Man, I had to pull this off. There is no chance for me failing.
Just like right over your shoulder, just
love
looking
your
at you.
like, costumes.
No, more like
PS
calmly standing
it's my
like
inside
that.
joke. Won't see
Arms
it
crossed, just taking a look. Like, damn.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we've actually got 2 people from the Discord that are going to Gamescom, so they're gonna have the chance to meet you. And T-Lap is actually right there in the chat. I don't know if Dreamer is watching. Yeah, they're gonna come.
Tlap and Dreamer are supposed to come and be at Gamescom, so hopefully they'll get a chance to take a picture with you and come show some 100 Rads bar support.
I hope 100 Rads bar. It's just, I know it's kind of sidetracking here right now, but it's the best community on social media right now. It's the best Facebook community. 100 Rads bar is the reason I am where I'm right now. Without 100 Rads bar, I don't know if I would have been such a successful cosplayer when it comes to Stalker. I owe these guys so much, and if anyone from 100 Rads bar hears this, thank you guys. I owe you damn lot.
Heck yeah, man. The community, bro. There's no other community like it, honestly. Like, I've seen some pretty badass communities, but Stalker is very, very unique. Even the hardcore purists and everything, if they know that you like Stalker, they just immediately are gonna have like a certain like affinity to be friendly, because they're like, they can't help it. It's like, you love the thing that I love, and like that means you see with the same set of eyes to some degree. Because the zone, my buddy always says this in like this Australian accent. It's like, the zone calls us. He says, the zone calls us all equally, mate. The zone calls us all equally. Like, every time he says, I'm like, he's fucking right, dude. I have nothing to say against that. He's right. You know, like you can't ignore the siren call. You know, a stalker is a stalker. You can take the stalker out of the zone, but you can't take the zone out of the stalker.
Speaking of Stalker, and Molet just released new info.
No, I knew that we were going to do an announcement teaser while we were live. Hold on, let me get it.
They just right now dumped some info on, a new teaser with the...
Yo, it's the Corden! Yo, it's the Corden, dude! They dropped the Corden teaser! Alright, hold on, let me download this clip. Yo, it's so insane! That's the best timing right there,
man.
Oh, man.
Shout out to Mullet, man.
Mullet, Marvin. Thanks, brother. That was good timing, man. Good stuff. Oh, that is... Yeah. Dude, that Rookie Village looks good. I have to download it and put it up. How am I going to do this? Hold on. The best way to do this would probably be...
Oh, man.
Come on. Yep, got it. Hold on. All right. I gotta think on my feet here real quick.
You gotta breathe, man. You gotta breathe.
It looks so good. The village looks so good. Oh man, hold on. Oh
Hell yeah,
wow.
it does.
Oh wow, dude. Hold on. I can't even right now. Wait.
Yeah, I had a feeling they might post while we were podcasting, and that's just perfect.
The timing of that is ridiculous. Okay, here we go. I got it up on the screen. Let me just go ahead and scale this down. Sorry, Anomalous, you don't have the video camera on, so I'm gonna crop you respectfully.
It's fine. It's fine. No problem.
There's the barrel, dude. Look how much more overgrowth there is on the ground. There's a lot more foliage.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Larger, that's what she said. Dude, this looks good. Look at the power lines and everything.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's giving you guys even more conversation.
Whoa, yeah, and we can see several character models as well.
Oh man, this weight is killing me.
Yeah.
And do you think tomorrow they're gonna post Sidorovich?
They still have the car, dude. Oh, thank God they didn't tow my car. I haven't paid parking tickets on this car in a long time. Thank God they didn't tow my car, man. Now, I can't see too well. Maybe somebody can zoom in a little bit more for me, but they're killing me on the resolution here. I want to know what outfits are here.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to sneak into. I see that I see that when you stop at 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you can tell that they got new oxygen tanks. These are larger than the original ones.
You're right. Those
they
are the new
reworked
tanks.
that. Yeah, they kind of reworked them.
The bus is still there on the right. Oh wow, this looks good. This looks so good.
Is someone?
Oh.
Am I tripping, or is someone actually in the house?
Dude, look at
we're zooming in.
Look at the bald spot on my man over here. I don't think that's Wolf unless Wolf lost some hair. And hey, it happens to the best of us brothers. It's all good. I willingly cut all mine off. But I'm trying to figure out who's over here hanging out on the right, because these look like sunrise kind of greenish suits. I can't. That center dude, it's a little hard to see if it's a plate carrier. I feel like I'm looking through a 240p Game Boy screen or something right now. It's so soft. From the buffering, or not the buffering, but the compression. 2 days.
Man, like, I remember the post with the echo detector and the Pripyat overview, but this one is pretty
even
hot.
the reflection in the water.
Yeah.
That is really good looking. Wow. And you know, the original games had such a problem with grass flicker, especially in the distance. Like, everything broke up and looked very pixelated. It's like, this is almost like a water painting or something. Like, everything is so smooth.
Okay, let me do a hot take on this one. But what if the puddles in the water, the puddles on the ground are not always there? Like, imagine that you have actually dynamic water that creates puddles and makes them disappear over time. Not saying it will be like that, but it could be an idea, because I don't see it raining, but I see water.
Honestly, I can see that being a thing, but if they pull it off, it's like, wow.
There are Unreal Engine water physics plugins that would do exactly what you're describing. And they should function like that. The only thing is, it's hard to tell because they don't have a very high height map.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a fluid volume like those demos would usually show. It just looks like a puddle that you... Oh, man, but that's GSE. They could do anything. Like the tornado they showed in Time for Opportunities. Like, it has a certain look to it. They're doing the particle... The cloud physics, like the cloud rendering. Yeah. Oh, it's all physically based. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that they had some sort of physically based water model.
Like, even if you check out the texture of the wood at the beginning of the video, but it even has like moss on it.
It just, even the color and everything is so on point. The rock density here, like you were saying, this is where Unreal Engine 5 shines. I do not think that they could have gotten this with Unreal Engine 4.
And when the fire really looks realistic.
It has that natural, like, photorealistic look, like the originals were trying to do with photogrammetry for the time. And that's one of the reasons that I don't think that the original trilogy will ever age poorly. It just has like a timeless look to it. You might look at it in the future and be like, oh, this is like simpler. Like, I could believe this came out in the late 2000s, but it's not even in the same universe as what we're looking at here. This is like what people couldn't believe back with E3. Like, people for the longest time were like, we're never going to get E3 visuals. We have I think, better than E3 visuals now. I think that much is very clear. After they showed Not a Paradise and Time for Opportunities, I was like, yeah, I think that we are starting to go ahead of the original projection for what they wanted the game to look like. It just has such a polished look.
Yeah.
And the scale is really big.
Yeah.
You notice how much bigger it feels in between the buildings? It's subtle.
Sure.
It's subtle at first, but it feels a bit wider.
No, I feel like it's about the same.
I still wonder how they recorded this one. If they still have to use the good old record demo one cheat
yeah.
with, and keyframes. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Man, I had to figure this one out for YouTube so much.
It's subtle. I mean, like the fence posting, even if I'm projecting the same, like this spacing looks the same. It's almost like on the sides, everything looks the same. They kind of widened it a little bit. You know, it's a big map. I wouldn't even be surprised if the road from here to that, what was a military checkpoint, who knows what it's going to be this time around, is longer.
But yeah, we gotta be real on that, Tommy. I would say from now on, it's maybe half an hour or an hour, and you will see a post on Reddit Stalker popping up, analyzing this trailer with the original Corden. Give it like 1 hour, and the first people will do it.
100%. No lies detected.
So I can already tell you one comparison I can make. The power lines here, they are like the cables are still there. In the original, there were no cables. So already got that out of the way.
So you're saying that cables were not in the original, or?
Yeah, they were destroyed.
Interesting. So this, I was gonna say, because this kind of stood out to me. So yeah, these were already destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. So fun fact, I was working once on a video about all these like networks in the zone, roads, train tracks, and power lines.
No way.
And so I was in the process of recording and screenshotting every single like electric pole.
That's amazing. Why I'm not even surprised at this point that
so
would have. Of course you would have. And that's interesting because that's either like, okay, that's a retcon, or maybe the ward put up these lines for communication or something like that. Who knows? Like, or I
mean, Sidorovic's bunker somehow needs electricity, and we don't hear any generator running down there.
Sidorovich wanted to watch the Olympics, dude. He just needed somebody to go ahead and get him hooked up. They can't get dish from a bunker, so you got to do what you got to do. That's so cool. I mean, you know what's crazy about this? Because we obviously had the very first trailer for the game, and it showed the village obviously from the opposite angle, and it's obviously a different time of day. This is so much more lush. There was nowhere near this much grass even back then.
Yeah.
Oh wow, what an improvement! I mean,
it's realistic. I mean, how many cars will pass through Corden? Oh, nice. Anomalous actually got us a picture. Yeah. Man, this is insane how Stalker changed. I mean, Autumn Aurora changed Stalker quite a lot for me back in the days, but comparing what we just saw to like the original Corden.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
That's just worlds. Just worlds lie between that.
This definitely comes off as a geometry limitation of the time. Now that I look at the screenshot. Like, think of how the power lines would have flickered, or just when Stalker came out, people were struggling to run this game at like 1024 by 768.
Tommy, no, because there are other power lines that are still up in other locations. So no, that's not it.
Is it the same geometry?
Wait, let me find you a screenshot.
I mean, he's right. There are power lines in other places. I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
Are they this close to the player camera? I'm just playing the benefit of the doubt. I mean, because that means it has to be a deliberate decision.
Yeah. But I mean, Radar definitely has power lines, and I think Rostock Wilderness must have power lines as well, man. This is the reason why I love the videos from anomalousdugout. This guy has a PhD in Stalker.
Unless somebody restored the power lines in Heart of Chernobyl, and now there might be some more electronic devices in the cordon that are operational. It's been 10 years. Maybe they actually tried to restore some of the broken infrastructure for just the standard of living. It wouldn't shock me. You know, it's like there's certain questions that have been asked for a long time, like who makes the suits? Who makes the Stalker suits? Nobody knows. Who
makes the bread?
Yeah, who makes the bread? Who makes the suits? Where do they shower? Do you have to give coins to the bartender to use like the room in the back? Like how do those things work?
But showers? I mean, if you want to shower, just work for the eggheads. Ecologists have showers.
I'm pretty sure
that seems like it'd be a really hot commodity. That would have been good to put
showers
into the
lore. In a clear sky base.
Like, sure. I gotta help the guys take readings so I don't smell like swamp ass for the next week.
Yeah. That's why when I ever will start LARPing, my character will always have this background working for the eggheads because they have showers.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the 5-head chess play. It's like I work for the ecologists so I can smell good.
And
like,
in the books, I know that there are showers as well.
Which one? Which I was gonna say which books. I've been collecting them, but that one was only I think in German, right?
Yeah, that's like the German Stalker series, and those are quite rare. But in the books, there is mentioned that stalkers want to go to Rostock because they want to take a shower because they're so dirty that even the water in the puddles is not enough to get their skin.
Dude, that's sick. Could you do me a favor? Could you casually translate and send me a PDF of that book? No, I'm just kidding.
Casually translate the book? Yeah, of course, man.
I've never been able to read the book, even though I have it. I've just looked at it like, this is really cool. I'm sure there's some great stories in it.
There are like the German books and there are like Polish Stalker books.
Yeah.
And the best thing about the Polish Stalker books, the guy who writes them has a Stalker cosplay and shows up on cons and hangs out with stalkers from time to time.
This is what I mean. This is so cool. What? Now, this is the Chernobyl 2 clip. When I first saw the buildings, I immediately was like, oh my god, I think it's Pripyat. But then you can see the array at the end, and with the angle that it's at, it wouldn't make sense. Like, because in the original games, I'm pretty sure you could see the array just flat from, like, you know, like it's ahead of you. But this is all from the angle, and I'm pretty sure Anomalous had covered this map stuff a while ago. So, like, Anomalous, this is without a doubt Chernobyl 2?
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, about the building, of course, like many people assumed it is Pripyat because this exact type of building was in Shadow of Chernobyl, in the main street of Pripyat. But in reality, Pripyat doesn't have such buildings. You know, it's a building with a like sloped rooftop, and Pripyat doesn't have this. All rooftops in Pripyat are flat. So it's definitely like it's actually because the developers used this building that they had made, I think, for Dead City, and got inspiration from Chernobyl 2, and they actually put it in the Shadow of Chernobyl Pripyat map. But in reality, it shouldn't be there. So since they're making the new game more accurate to like the real place, it makes sense that they're bringing this back to Chernobyl 2, and Pripyat will be different.
Right. I noticed something when I had watched this clip a couple times. If you look through the windows, like some of them, they stay black, but you can see debris in a lot of the windows. And it's almost like, obviously these would be separate rooms. So it doesn't make sense for like inside this building to be like one large chamberous hall. And so I started having the theory that like maybe the other side of this building just has like a gigantic hole in it from some sort of damage or anomaly or otherwise. It's very hard to see in, you know, this footage, but if you go on Discord and pull the clip up directly, you'll see what I mean. Especially if you look through this window right next to the balcony, you'll see a lot of fragments, and that's like the GSE level of detail where we go complete schizo analyst trying to figure out what like all these little bits of detail truly mean. But I love that part. Like they fade it at just the right time. They're like, no, we don't want to show you too much, but you can see the Duga right there.
Yeah. And somebody asked a community manager about if all buildings will be explorable I don't remember who it was that responded.
I think
pretty
McCulkin
much
did. I think he said that if it's not completely destroyed, or if it's enterable or if it's not completely destroyed or it's enterable accessible, you can check it out. So it's going to be way more exploration than last time. We know, like, that without a doubt of a fact. I love just the more grandiose structures that they're teasing, because you definitely didn't get anomalies that were like, I mean, there were certain things. Obviously, there was like the orb that goes between the two buildings in Pripyat, and it's got like the large branches that like stretch it across and things like that. So you did have some larger scale stuff, but I mean, like the fire tornado in the reactor, the actual twister is probably the biggest arch anomaly that we've seen so far. But even like these interesting structures in the forest and stuff like that. Like, imagine just running through the trees, just like through the forest, and then suddenly seeing this like silhouetting on like the horizon line as you get closer to it. Like, it's kind of like exciting but unsettling. Like, there's so much I want to see in this map.
But now that I check it out again, like the buildings where you can see Duga in the background, this looks like Dead City to me. Dead City has sloped roofs. I remember that from the Lost Alpha.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if Dead City is gonna come back, to be honest, because it was cut, and it's not really a real place. So since they're making the map more accurate to the real thing, I'm
just saying it reminds me of Dead City, not saying it is Dead City.
Yeah, definitely, but that's because when they created Dead City, they got some inspiration from Chernobyl too. So that makes sense. And also Limansk. Limansk has similar buildings as well.
I think there was a lot of discussion back in the day. I remember it came up in the Discord that certain buildings, I think, in Clear Sky were like dropped into Limansk that weren't accurate or something like that. It was basically like there was a lot of debate, but I think it ultimately came down to like they only had so much memory. They only had so much space for the map for the time. So they were inspired by different locations. They wanted to maybe bring the spirit of them all together into one, which is now a fictional interpretation of something that's real, you know. So I see what you're saying, and almost like maybe they won't bring Dead City back just because they definitely, even in the way they structure the map, are going for like that ultra realistic approach. But it's still Stalker. It's still like it's not one-to-one for reality. They still bend the rules. So I'm curious. I'm even more curious because obviously like Truck Cemetery is back. Truck Cemetery was cut. There's a lot of cut content coming back. I think anything's on the table. It's just a question of like, does it make sense to do so? Does it offer enough variety in the gameplay? Because there was that one map. What's that one map that was in Alpha Stalker with the big bridge? It was a huge, long map. I think maybe it was the Road to Dead City or something like that.
Oh man, now you're asking.
You know the one I'm talking about, though, right? That
That you are meant to traverse on.
I think it was supposed to be in a vehicle. I think it wasn't the map that you were supposed to get ambushed by the helicopter, but it was the one you drove through, and then that sequence played out. Which now that I say it out loud, tell me that doesn't sound very Half-Life-ish. It sounds like they were probably working on it. And they were really like someone had played Half-Life over the weekend. It was like, dude, we need a fucking car sequence in Stalker. This is gonna look awesome. Yeah, maybe it was like the road. Yeah, I think it was Road to Dark Valley.
Darkscape, yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those things too,
Darkscape,
where it's not off the table to cut it if it just doesn't serve the gameplay function well enough.
I mean, yeah, and it could be that Dead City and Chernobyl 2 are actually the same place. Also,
that's true. I love how much speculation we get to do pre-release.
But yeah, I saw
Loki's posting already.
I saw Mozzie make a good point in the chat. We missed something about the newest teaser in the corridor. If you can come back to.
Do we know where?
In the second scene, like in the top left corner above the house, we can see the wall of the perimeter.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Right next to this tree, right here, you can see a very flat line.
Yeah.
And that looks like a wall.
That's the perimeter.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the...
Hi, man. Spartan Mosey never misses.
Good spot, Mosey. Good job, man. Yeah,
well done,
you can
mate.
definitely tell. That's definitely a wall. What's interesting is it doesn't go all the way across. So I wonder if that's the gate entrance that we saw in the other trailer. In Come to Me, I wonder if that's the checkpoint gate, and it's got like the taller wall, and then it goes a little bit further down, where there would be a wall past these trees. You can't just see it because it's eclipsing them.
Yeah, but the wall is pretty long. We can see it in the
right. Right. Yeah, but
also if you skip to second floor, you can see. Even maybe I'm just supposing right now, but if you skip to second floor, 3 to 4, you can see actually other buildings behind the trees, like just in the upper left corner, not the wall itself, but just more towards the middle of the thing. You can see like
I do see what looks like
shape.
This looks like a pathway. This looks like a walkway back here that goes a little bit like further uphill. Ooh,
exactly. Like
this
a tower or something.
Break my brain when I play this. It's gonna be like rediscovering all familiar locations in a different way now. Like the fact that there's no level sections is such a blessing, because we all know Stalker can be a meme. You can be like being chased by 5 dogs, run up to do you want to enter the next area? Yes. And then like you just disappear, like you just get teleported and you're saved, or vice versa. You'll teleport somewhere and you'll just immediately be surrounded by mutants in that area. So having it all just be seamless, it changes the way that you think about going out on an adventure. You're not even just trying to survive till the next map section, to survive to the next level load. You're like, no, I might need to get on top of a building or something and take cover. Thank you for the sub. I have like so many layers on this podcast scene that I can't even see the alerts right now.
Man, like I'm looking forward to it, even though I'm afraid that this might turn my GPU into Reactor 4.
Yeah, this is that type of game where you could have a 4090 and still be sweating.
Yeah.
It looks like a title for the future, just like the original Stalkers were. Oh,
so in case my PC turns into the elephant's foot, I will just send it to GC Game World and ask for a new one.
Help, you did this. Help.
Can't you just lower the graphics? No.
No, it's not. What the hell is that? Man, I just want to sit in this village and just take it all in for like a long time. Oh man, I want to take a look inside all the buildings and see like how they've aged, because there's going to be more decay, but the Stalkers have lived here for a while, so they might have more furnishings, or have kind of like tried to tailor certain environments a little bit more details of the fact that these are lived in locations, you know, because everybody's got to like lay down to sleep somewhere, and we know that you're going to be able to sleep this time. So I wonder if it's going to be like old school games that had sleeping, where if you sleep out in the open, you have a greater chance of being ambushed or waking up to, you know, bandits or mutants, versus if you find a safer place to sleep, you'll get more rest, you'll get like a better stat buff type of thing.
Yeah, I think you'll only be able to sleep in designated spots, I think, because we've seen them on the map.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, on the PDA. Yeah, like we saw in that raw stat gameplay clip, there was a little sleeping icon. That's true.
But honestly, this is something that like nowadays stalkers probably are not familiar with. In Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, you were forced to play at night. You couldn't sleep.
Yeah, and in Clear Sky too. And nights were even darker in Clear Sky.
I was so, when I played Stalker as a kid, like I was a teenager, and at night I was so afraid, but I just decided to stay at a safe spot and wait till the night's end before I move out. It was just too scary for my teenage me.
It's so good. Yeah, Stalker at night is a vibe, especially when you hear like the wolf howling in the distance and stuff like that.
Yeah, and gunshots.
Yeah. I really wonder how they'll balance that, because you're right. If sleeping is an option, you don't want players to overlook half the experience. So it's like, oh, maybe at night there's not as many threats about, like mutants and stuff might be sleeping in their dens, but you have to deal with X, Y, and Z now. Maybe like there's more anomalies or there's something, you know what I mean? Just some gameplay balancer where you're like, yeah, I can see better in the daytime, but there's going to be more things to fight or hide from. Whereas at nighttime, there's not as many things, but maybe there's more dangerous mutants out and about, or fewer but way deadlier elements and stuff.
I mean, it will suit to the lore of the Stalker games, because we know that some mutants are dormant during the day and others during night. So who would probably be more likely to encounter bloodsuckers.
Yeah, or I feel like you'd be more likely to run into a controller outside at night, but more likely in the daytime to find him hiding in a building or down in a lab or basements or something like that.
And maybe some quests will force you to actually play at night. Like in Call of Pripyat, there are quests that you have to wait until a certain time to complete, like, hunting the Chimera.
Good point.
Ambushing the stalkers at
man.
Shevchenko, stuff like this. And yeah, someone said in the chat, maybe some artifacts will only spawn at night, just like in Shadow of Chernobyl. The electrical artifacts only spawned at night. That was removed in the other 2 games, but that could be something they bring back.
Man, I completely forgot about the Chimera hunting in Call of Pripyat, and I honestly didn't want to remember it either.
It all just comes rushing back.
It completely triggered me.
I just remember doing sprint jumping around a really thick tree trunk every time that it would leap at me. I would try to zigzag around it. Oh, that thing was a pain in the ass to kill. It was a fun mission.
Yo, chat is exploding right now. Shout out to Shurikovic.
Skidamovich. Hey. All right, so we're definitely. I mean, today's a good example. Starting to get. You're all breathtaking. Thank you. All right, so we're definitely. Oh, there it goes again.
You're all breathtaking.
Thank you for the subs, boys.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
I'm just waiting for the dip. I'm just waiting for the dip. All right, is it safe? It's safe.
I mean,
you're breathtaking. No.
It's basically a subscription blowout right now.
So this year has been an interesting one. I mean, we're today's a great example. We're definitely getting more media snippets and teasers now. They're doing teasers just leading up to a teaser. So I mean, it's quite a different vibe than it was even all the way through 2023. What do you guys think as far as just the state, where we're at as far as the state of things? Where do you see the marketing going? What do you think we're going to be shown more after this? We know we've got Gamescom, we've got the deep dive. That's a lot of material. Do you think September might be slow? Do you think then they're going to hit real hard in October or early November because it's coming right up and they want to show you more but not too much to spoil things? What would you interpret that strategy as?
I mean, it's difficult to say because
it's a tough one.
I'm not sure what more they can show than what we're gonna see on Monday. It's already gonna be a huge showcase, so I'm not sure. But I think, okay, so on Gamescom, the rumor is that we're gonna get a new trailer, right, on the opening day, and then people will get to play it. I feel like the next step is probably to have more media coverage, more reviews of general critiques, and maybe even send I don't know, early access keys to some people. GSC, if you're listening, we are here.
That's a great idea, Anomalous. That's a great idea. I like that idea a lot, and I wholeheartedly agree. What a great idea. Early access for content creators. That's a great idea.
But yeah, generally engaging more with the community, because I'm sure after Monday, things are going to explode. Doubters will be silenced. More people will that don't know Stalker will arrive. We will be there, of course.
That sounds like an audio sample that you'd hear in an MF Doom track. The doubters will be silenced. It just that works really well. But I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. It definitely. I would say the first half of this year was really interesting because that was thinner. We got trailers that were really good, but you know, we were still looking with September as our target, and we're like, man, we're getting like close. It's starting to feel kind of like the last time we were getting close to a release date, but there wasn't quite enough media to support what felt like that release date. Now the vibe is very different. It's going in the opposite direction. Now it's like, yeah, oh yeah, of course I can believe in November. Look at all this material that's coming. So yeah, the doubters, I think these are the things that are addressing those topics directly. You know, every time a new trailer would come out, we would all be like so jazzed up, so excited, and there'd be people like, but they didn't really show us gameplay, but we haven't really seen the game. I'm not convinced. I don't believe it's real. I think it's a lie. But it's like, no, Monday is for them. It's to be like, nope, this is what you're playing. I'm pressing buttons and Skiff is doing actions. This is it. This is the real deal. And we're going to basically just be losing our complete minds. And those people are going to be like, fuck, they were right.
Tone it down.
Shut it down. Damn it. Fall back to weird attacks on social media. No.
And I'm curious to see what demo will be shown at Gamescom. Like if it is the same as Summer Game Fest, which is basically the beginning of the game, or just something new. But we will know soon enough.
That's true.
And I'm pretty sure also there's other events planned in like Asia in October or something. So
yeah, there was an October event, I think, that they had talked about, kind of like how they did PGA the previous year and stuff like that, Paris Games, where you get to play it.
Yeah, PGW. Yeah.
S.t.a.l.k.e.r, had you played the game once then at Gamescom, or?
I played it a few times. Like I was with GC Game Mode on Gamescom, and I was with them on PGA in Bosnine.
Okay, perfect. What, if you can say, what do you think? The game, do you feel like it was growing every time you played it? Because obviously they were working on it and refining it. Some of the impressions that people were saying from Gamescom were like really different than what we were hearing from like PGA, for example. It seemed like the people at PGA had a less buggy, more consistent experience within their demo playthrough versus some of the people at Gamescom. Or did you just feel like you're like, nah, it felt like more of the same. It was good, and then it was good, and it was just good to play some more, or something like that.
It's hard to tell because when I played it at Gamescom, I wanted to get as much from the, I would say, quest line as possible. So I completely went for the quest and was completed the game in time. While on PGA, I just decided to do the exact opposite of things and just roam around, go into areas that I'm not supposed to be in, and check and just check out the map. And so I can't really comment on that because I just lack the personal experience of two comparable playthroughs.
This actually overall brings up a question though. Did they artificially lock you into an area, or when you ran too far out of the zone, did the storm come, or did you get to see some places where like a developer started looking over your shoulder, like he's starting to sprint towards an area that demo players we didn't think were really going to go, or something like that?
I think this question is a little bit too spicy for me to answer.
Ooh, okay, that's fine. You don't have to say it. You don't have to say it. It's a
little bit too spicy to answer. But what I can say is, based on my experience, Stalker has really evolved. Like, especially in the technical aspect. I have rarely played a game that has so great gunplay. Like, when I played it, I got my hands on the AK-47U at 74U. And shooting this gun just felt like it's still a game, but it just felt realistic.
Good punch, good animation.
Yeah, exactly. Great animation, nice feedback, nice recoil, bullet physics were there, and you just could notice the massive step forward that they made in development compared to Call of Pripyat. So the gunplay is amazing, and honestly, we know that there are some people who just play Stalker as a shooter and don't really care about lore and story. I don't think that those people will be disappointed. And the rest of us will probably enjoy the breathtaking atmosphere of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, Stalker always had decent combat, but it definitely seems like it's a lot more tactile and punchier this time. I'm curious how that's going to balance with the AI, because anytime you have that, it usually means that like combat scenarios can go quicker. Like in the original game, they had the bullet drop and all the weird stuff, and people were like, this sucks, I'm shooting, but it's not hitting anything. it's like they just didn't understand how the game mechanics were tailored, and they were just used to playing, I don't want to say just Call of Duty games, but games that did not do a unique approach like this, where the game's like, no, you need to stop, reevaluate, and reapproach. If you do the same thing over and over, that's not working. It's just the definition of insanity. It's just going to keep punishing you.
And if we compare it to other games, like many games at that time didn't even have bullet drop. Best example, Counter-Strike. When we go back to Counter-Strike source,
hit scan.
It has literally no bullet drop at all. So Stalker was quite a challenge for many of us. I still remember when I got the British I think it's the L85. Yeah. Like the first combat is a little bit accurate, but it's still a total disaster.
It's so funny because the first time I played Shadow of Chernobyl, I freaking loved that rifle, and I didn't realize how bad it was at the time. I just loved it so much because I always like that gun. Except in the multiplayer, it rocks, and anybody who's played against me in the multiplayer knows that gun can do some damage. So my tip to all you guys getting ready for the tournament: don't sleep on that IL-86. That thing is a monster in the multiplayer. GSC just came up with like 2 completely different tables of values for how the guns work in multiplayer versus single player. So like all your guns are completely remixed. Just something to keep in mind. Don't expect them to handle like they do in single player if it's your first time doing multiplayer this time. Highly recommend you guys check the events on Discord, because we just do casual play a lot of the times on Sundays, and so that's a good time to make sure that your setup is rocking and rolling, so that when we do get to the tournament, you'll be good to go.
And we have to acknowledge this game is over 10 years old now. And you have people still playing the multiplayer at random times. You can join in and play the Stalker multiplayer. I did this 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I was completely shocked to see that people are still playing the multiplayer.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think, and that's part of why I wanted to do the tournament, because it all really kind of started from us just messing around in the Discord one day and being like, hey, you guys want to play? Like, all right. And then we were having just a really, really good time. And we're like, we need to get more people in on this. So we try to make it more of a regular thing. And I figured, well, what better way to try and get people who are interested in multiplayer to join your multiplayer sessions than to do a big old community event and an announcement for it. And there's been a ton of people who have come in and signed up. So I'm really, really excited for this. I guess since we're talking about the multiplayer so much, I'm just going to go ahead and announce it. So what I was originally thinking about doing was locking the entry for the tournament this weekend, but we can kind of scale the teams up and down, and I just want everybody to have as much of a chance to sign up as possible. And kind of every day we have one person trickle in and be like, hey, if there's still room. So no worries, yo, if you want to join, we can make room for you. But what I plan on doing is setting the date for the tournament to be 2 weeks from today. I'm probably gonna make it sometime like 12 p.m. EST, which would be 6 p.m. EST. I'm not sure. What I want to do is take a poll in the Discord of all the people that are enrolled in the tournament and ask what would be the best time to host the tournament, and give a few examples, and then kind of see from there. It's just tricky because we're trying to get people from a lot of different time zones to play at the same time. So some people are going to be playing this thing at the crack of dawn. Some people are going to be playing this before they're getting ready to go to bed. It's not going to always be the most consistent thing, but I'm open to any suggestions to make it more compatible. So I'll say 2 weekends from today. It's either going to be Saturday or Sunday. I'll go ahead and do a poll in the Discord, because for all I know, Sunday might work better for you guys versus Saturday or what have you. But I didn't want to wait too long to start the tournament, because everybody's waiting to do the tournament and everybody's hyped. But I wanted to give everybody a chance to get their affairs in order, so that they're off from work when we do the tournament or whatever else have you, so that everybody gets a chance to play. So hopefully that works. If you have any questions or you want to know more about it, hit us up in the Discord, and we'll do the best that we can. I'm expecting, it's the first time we've hosted one of these. It's kind of like when I did the first podcast, I had no fucking clue what I was getting myself in for. So with the first tournament, it's my first time hosting that. So we'll just kind of roll with the punches as we go, and it'll help us for the tournaments in the future when it comes to scheduling and stuff like that. So cool. All right, all right. Well, does anybody else have anything they'd like to add, or any topics? The floor is open. I do want to mention to the chat, everybody, we are doing a giveaway for Stalker 2 on the podcast today. So get ready when we go ahead and bring up the pinwheel here in a bit. We're going to go ahead and have everybody in the chat just go ahead and say, like, I'm in, and we'll add your names onto the wheel. We're going to go ahead and we'll spin that sucker. And then all you have to do is, thanks to our lovely mod in the 100 Rads bar, s.t.a.l.k.e.r, you're going to go ahead and add him on Steam, and he's just going to gift you the game directly, and bada bing, bada boom, and you're off to the zone. So it's going to be pretty cool. So hang out, guys. Get ready, because we're going to be doing that giveaway here shortly. But I definitely want to go ahead and see if anybody had anything else they'd like to add.
I mean, we've not taken a look at the first teaser. We took a look at the new one with the cordon, the previous one with the Chernobyl 2, but not the first one. I think you were planning to cover it.
Yeah, I think I brought that one up really quickly, but I can go ahead and bring that one back up here.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been saying that the anomaly we see is the symbiont in the Red Forest. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but not necessarily. Because there's also been other anomalies that look the same, with like the claw-shaped, like the claws coming out of the ground.
Right.
Like there was one in the Agroprom and one in Yantar as well, in Clear Sky. So I'm not too convinced it's the symbiont. It could be, but could also be another one. Who knows? Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
This area doesn't. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. There's not too many like points of interest to like ground you immediately. I know some people were speculating from this lake against the map that we had gotten from the website that showed the collector's edition materials. So I agree. I'm pretty sure this is obviously Red Forest, but it feels like we haven't seen anything quite the same as this in game. I feel like what people maybe saw in Red Forest before would still be there, but maybe just as a separate thing. Because weren't you saying you don't think it looks exactly the same?
I mean, the locations are obviously gonna be like reworked and expanded. Like we've seen how much of a job they did with the digger, the excavator.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It just looks so much better and bigger. So it could very well be the symbiont that has had the same treatment. But it's not confirmed, so who knows? I guess we'll see. But it's good seeing like big ass anomalies like this.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Agreed. Definitely. So now the question is, are we gonna get one more of these tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure.
I would expect it, yeah.
It kind of feels like they're doing these every day.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
if you check out the time, they're always doing this at 6 p.m. Central European time. And they're doing it daily. But since they're not punctual on minute,
and that
sometimes they're a minute off, they're doing those posts they're doing those posts from hand.
Yeah, someone gets stuck in the bathroom, it takes a couple minutes to get to their desk and hit publish. No worries.
Yeah, and 6 p.m. is also the time the event will start on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess tomorrow will be another one of those.
Nice, I can't wait.
Dude, these amber colors, it's so beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah, like, man, no need for Autumn Aurora, we already got this one in the vanilla game.
I loved Autumn Aurora. That was one of my favorite mods for Shadow of Chernobyl back in the day,
definitely.
Dude. The gunplay, I mean, the only thing I did was I put the vanilla models back in, but other than that, chef's kiss mod.
Yeah, I just never like the new designs of armors. I always prefer to stick to the original ones from the game.
Yeah.
That was my hard beef with Call of Chernobyl.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had like a lot of newly introduced armors, and maybe you can tell. I love the sunrise suit how it is. I don't need any modifications to that.
GSC seems to agree with you, so we're all good.
Yeah. Like they made some changes to the sunrise suit, and that is no secret because you can see it on the teaser pictures where the Stalker is holding the artifact in his hands. You can tell that the belts are different than in the original games, but I think it's a good choice to modernize a little bit because now we have the opportunity to get some decent textures and models on the costumes.
Yeah,
it's true.
Compared to the Shadow of Chernobyl.
Yeah, and possibly if they're all like handcrafted, they could be each of them could be like unique with small differences from Stalker to Stalker.
Yeah. I'm really curious how this one will turn out, especially when it comes to armors in the game.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them we have yet to see, like the exoskeletons, for example.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's going to be an interesting balance because now you've got such a big world and they're obviously going to slow you down. So it's not like one of those things that you're just going to be like, oh, I have an exo. Now I'm endgame proof. Like there's always a balance. And that was one of my favorite things in the original games is all right, I want to go to X18. I've got, I don't want to just bring 500 rounds of 545 and 556. I'm going to be like completely straddled down with too much weight. So, all right, I'll bring 200 rounds of each. And I'm going to be a lot more choosy about the conflicts that I get into on my way there. I'll chew through more of the 545 first because I'm going to find more of that on combatants as I go. And I'll keep that 556 if I'm in a tight butt clenching scenario where I need a little bit more firepower. It's like you just make all of these minute decisions in your mind as you play. And that's what really draws you in is all of the background tasks that you're taking track of other than what's immediately happening right in front of you as well.
But honestly, whenever I enter tight spaces, I just stick to the shotguns in the game, either the Chaser or the SPAS-12.
The SPAS is so good.
Because just the damage output you get per weight of ammo is so much better than with assault rifles. And usually when you're underground, you tend to encounter more, I would say, enemies that could be considered as bullet sponges. Like
that's true.
Even the controller takes a lot of bullets to actually be downed. So you just toss grenades and stuff, and a shotgun kind of makes this process a little bit easier.
It took me so long to learn about knife rushing.
Yeah.
I was getting my ass kicked for a while before I figured that out, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, damn it.
But I would love this, to have a hideout in the game where I can store some gear and to, pack the right rifles and the right armor for the certain quests and missions that I'm doing.
Yes.
That would be pretty amazing.
It would make it a lot less tedious than being like, oh man, I'm going to have to come all the way back to this area to do what I need to do and then go all traveling again. Yeah, you can leave yourself stash spots. I think we had discussed this on the podcast once before, and I said that one of my favorite variations to that gameplay would have been if other NPCs could find those stashes too. So if you had a stash that was more hidden away, that NPCs would be less likely to stumble across it. And maybe you have to jump across a few rocks and there's like a little bag on a tree branch or something. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll keep some stuff here. But if there's just like a little, storage box, kind of like you see in like the bandit hangar or something like that, anybody could just walk up and pop and check in there. So you would run the risk of leaving stuff there that might not be there for you when you come back. But taking that even a step further, like the way I think of A-Life 2.0 is it's not just the engine saying, oh, how long were you away from this box? Then somebody looted it. It's like, no, what if an NPC actually has to go over to that box and loot the stuff? So if you came back and the items were gone, what if the bandit who took it is just down the road? So you, in a panic, are trying to see if there's anybody nearby, and then you find and kill the guy and you find the stuff again. Like, that's that kind of emergent gameplay where it's very memorable because you don't get that from other games at all. And if anybody is going to give you that type of experience, it's going to be Stalker.
And it's a unique experience. Like I said, other players might not have this experience.
Right.
And this makes it so special because Stalker feels unique. It feels like you're actually writing your own story.
Yeah, and I totally
because you're nobody. Nobody cares about you.
You're right. I need to play shotguns more.
Yeah, and we're going to get the Saiga in Stalker 2. I'm pretty excited for that one.
Yeah.
Pretty nice shotgun.
I really want to play with the Gauss rifle in Stalker 2, and I'm hoping it's longer than 10 minutes at the end of the campaign.
Yeah. I think I will most likely start with the double barrel hunting shotgun, as I always do. It's a very good weapon, and even in multiplayer, this thing takes your enemies apart. People underestimate the power of this cheap rifle.
Colin, if you're in the chat, I know that you're sitting there nodding like, yeah, people were finding that out the other night. Yeah, every time I started hearing the shotgun just doosh, 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 I was like, uh-oh, Colin got money, he bought a shotgun.
Yeah. This thing is insane. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's freaking sweet.
So I hope this one will be in the game as well.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it will be. It is.
I expect all the OG weapons to return.
Yeah. And
I'm
maybe
not
we'll
sure
be able
about
to mod
that.
them a little bit. That would be cool.
Maybe.
I think some OG weapons are not coming back. Like
what?
the TRS, the IL.
Oh,
I don't think these are
you don't think
back.
the IL-86 is coming back? Bro, I'm gonna be fucking mad if the IL doesn't come back. Even if the lore's like, oh, this British rifle sucked and it didn't last the test of time over 10 years, and be like, listen here, I loved that gun. It was so good, even if it sucked. I mean, don't take it from me.
I could be wrong, yeah, but I feel like we're not gonna see them back.
El Perro, are you in the chat? I need you to pull a Nostradamus right now and say, Tom, it's gonna be okay. The IL's coming back. Just tell me the IL's coming back. Colonel, you were asking about grenades. I'm probably the last person you want to ask about grenades, because I am the sick bastard who thought that the grenade spam in Clear Sky was fun. Yeah, because I was the worst.
Right.
I was the worst corner peeker in Shadow of Chernobyl, and I knew how to cheese the game because of it. But when I play Clear Sky, I can't do that, and I know I can't do that because the game is set up that way. So I don't get mad at it. I'm like, nah, you got me. Like, that's my fault. Like, it keeps you on the move to get on top of the firefight. Yeah. So when people complain, I'm like, I get it. I understand it is frustrating. But GSE knew what they were doing. They're base. Sorry, it's good gameplay.
Yeah, I mean the idea is there to like keep you on the move, but it's just toned up a bit too much. Like when 3 grenades land at your feet.
I was gonna say, when you hear the tick tick tick. Oh man, the 3 ticks when you hear them all land over each other, and you're just like, oh shit, like loading save like immediately at the loading screen is so good.
Or you see one grenade gets thrown, the second gets thrown, and the first one that explodes just tosses the other one in a completely different direction.
If they brought that back and they dialed it back a little bit, I think that's a good balance. Like, because they kind of got scared with the feedback they got, and dude, Call of Pripyat did not have grenades nearly as much as Clear Sky did. Like, you did get grenades thrown at you, but like one. Yeah. Like, kind of not often. The Mercs, I think, threw grenades at me more often. That was a bit more common. But other than that, yeah.
Imagine NPCs actually using grenade launchers.
Yeah,
that will be.
That
will change things a lot.
Oh, the bulldog. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But Chad actually got some nice points. Sasquatch, for example, said that he wants to see the Mosin in a new game, and this is something that I actually wanted to pick up
the Nagant,
on as well. Yeah, the moist nugget.
The moist nugget. Yes!
The moist nugget. I love it. This rattling covered piece of junk from the past century, but it's such a good sniper rifle, and some mods actually, of course, got this one in, and I would love to see it because it's just realistic to get like old weapons from the 20th century in a rural area of northern Ukraine.
That's especially really the moist nugget bolt action. You could have a lot of punch, and then the bolt carrier come back. Ooh, they know how to do animations on gun. That would be a very satisfying gun to shoot.
Yeah, so we've actually seen it in a promotional artwork.
For S2 or for the trilogy?
For Stalker 2, but we don't. But it doesn't mean it's in the game. Wait, I'm gonna find it and pull it up. But
nice.
It doesn't.
I'm just gonna take
really
that
mean...
at surface level facts. Let's go. It's back. No, just kidding.
Don't destroy hope.
It's just. It's just a picture like promoting an anomaly, and you can see just barely the rifle.
Oh, is it right in the background?
Yeah. I have this one as a model right here, and I can tell that this one is a moist nugget.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it. I'm not sure if it confirms it will be in the game, but it could be.
But I mean, chance. Why would they get an SKS a moist nugget in there if they wouldn't use it for the game? Like you can see, I think on the left, a magazine from an AK-74.
That would be really weird to see it in the world as like a prop, but not a pick-upable weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they would have added that one. And I would love to see the Scorpion in the game as a sidearm.
Oh, yeah, Scorpion is a good one. Yeah. That's a fun machine pistol. Let's go. Yeah. I love those. Oh, man. Are there any other guns that... Oh, well, they did show that one screenshot by the bridge. I'm really excited to see what looks to be a little bit more of NATO
the M14?
weaponry. Yeah, some U.S. domestic weapons are showing up on the scene now. I wonder if that's like carryovers from mercenaries coming into the zone. That's the thing that's really interesting, is you're seeing more walks of life, or just over time, there's more people coming into the zone than have been there before. A lot of new faces, a lot of new items and things as a result. So it's almost like you're seeing a little bit more culture than was there previously. It would have been more of a niche thing, but now that it's been so much time later, it seems like a lot more people are coming back. And who knows?
So I actually have an anecdote about this M14, because I was discussing it with other people the other day, and was like, to me it felt like a bit off to have this weapon in the game, but I was actually corrected, because it makes more sense than it looks like. So at first I thought it didn't make sense, because its ammunition is like a NATO round that would not be used by any other guns, or at least not any other guns that we've seen. But in fact, in the screenshot, you can see that it doesn't use the M14 round, but instead it's rechambered to a round like a Soviet round.
Oh, so nice.
Something more available.
Yeah, something more available, exactly. And actually, there's a Ukrainian guy, I don't remember who it was, who told me that there are these M14 being made in Ukraine or for Ukraine or something like this. So it makes more sense if you take that into account. So I'm not sure if it's real, but that's something that we could investigate, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, rechambering guns is something that we already have had in the past games.
Yeah.
Sometimes it didn't always make sense, but
definitely
we had it.
So
yeah, it's those little touches that really add, though, to the world building.
Yeah, definitely.
And add a layer of authenticity. Like, I like how that's interesting, where you end up finding out once again from the community. It's like, well, actually, this is something that, is actually happening. Like, it takes a lot of minds to come together to build out the wiki of Stalker, if you will.
I just would like to know whether there will be like really anti-material rifles in the game.
Like,
to hunt down bigger mutants or stalkers and exoskeletons, like KSVK or something like that.
I wonder if they're going to introduce any type of mutant that's like the Chimera was like the big badass, right? He was kind of like the lion of the zone, so to speak. He was like more towards the top of the food chain of hard to take down mutants. But now that they have such a big scale, I wonder if they can make something that's kind of fucked up and really large and troublesome to deal with. I mean, not too big. I'm not looking for like a kaiju or anything like that, you know what I mean? But just something that's like really intimidating, that takes up a bit of screen space. Like, it's a good opportunity to add new mutants ideas.
Внимание, anecdote. We know that when GSC Game World visited the Chernobyl exclusion zone, they also went to the nuclear power plant and, of course, went to the reservoirs for the cooling water. And there, they have been told that there should be a giant catfish that you can lure out with a big chunk of bread. They didn't see him, but they know that this legend exists. Not saying that this might be some point of Stalker 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone still remembers this anecdote from early 2000s and decides to catch up on that.
I think
and
you're
maybe
right.
This would be the inspiration for the Starfish in Metro Exodus.
We saw on the map from the collector's edition that
In the
there
map,
was a
yeah.
fish in that body in the top right. I wonder if this is an interpretation from that story and anecdote.
I mean, you can find it in the Stalker archives, with the entire travel experience there. But I mean, it's a far-fetched. Like, I'm literally grabbing something that was 20 years ago and pulling it out of a box.
But that's the thing, is that's exactly GSE style, to look at something like that. And I mean, it's so stalkerish, right? The whole, if you had a piece of bread, you can lure him out. That feels like something you'd almost find an Easter egg in the game, where if you eat bread maybe at a certain location by the water, like he'll appear or something like that.
Or if you just drop it out of your inventory.
Yeah, maybe he'll come out of the water to like grab it or something. Like, yeah, who knows? That could be a quest, that could be an Easter egg, that could be anything. But that's such an interesting tale that if they're aware of it, there's no doubt they would want to do something with that. I know I would. That sounds cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
I highly recommend if you want to see a little bit more about the production process of the original Stalker games, to check out the archives, because there are like some of the OG things, and you can see actually pictures of the Stalker team, how they looked 20 years ago, and how also the zone looked 20 years ago, because the zone as we know it today also changed quite a lot.
Yeah. I have a video that I'm working on. I have a very old THQ press disc, and it has like a whole bunch of the photos from when they went on site. What's really interesting about it, kind of like a teaser into that video, is like locations that are being interpreted now in Stalker 2. You know, they visited all the way back then when they were making the originals, like when in the E3 2021 trailer, when he goes up to the gentleman and talks about the basement before he starts to do the dance and the singing, you can see the basketball net on the wall, or what remains of it. And I've got like the photos of them in that same gym, like
nice.
checking it out. And I'm looking at it like, oh my God, like this is in Stalker 2, but they were back here when they were still building the trilogy. It made me wonder how far ahead they were looking into this concept, where they're like, we're making this game, but you know, who knows what sequels and stuff would look like. Like the ideas that they have for Stalker 2, some of them I'm sure are new, but a lot of them are old. It's amazing to see a lot of these concepts that have been dormant for so long. They're about to get their limelight.
But that's a hot take. Imagine that they would actually refer to the material back from the early 2000s. That they would have this stuff from back in the days and still use it today.
Yeah.
That would be hella insane.
It's crazy. I mean, but that's why I won't put anything past GSE. They're so detail oriented that if it's within their means to do so and they want to do it, watch out. They'll probably do it. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I love that story. Thank you for sharing that with the with the reactor. That was the whole time you were saying that, I couldn't stop thinking about the fish on the map. I was like, yeah, that's got to be the same thing. I know Anomalous is sitting there. He's like, that's the fucking fish on the map. Like, there's no way he wasn't thinking about that too.
Yeah, I just stumbled upon it because of an accident, since I was doing some research about the old Stalker games for a new video that I'm making, and I just kind of remembered this small anecdote from their travel diaries.
That's so cool.
But highly recommend it. Check those out. The travel diaries are worth reading, and the pictures are worth seeing.
They did not a movie, but like a documentary here recently that came out on Shadow of Chernobyl, I think, and they had like original developers talk. I remember you have to like translate it, so I think it's on YouTube. I can't recall 100%, but you should be able to use like an auto translator to, you know, have it accessible for whatever language you use. Yeah, because it was really interesting looking to have these guys like look back on the project all these years later. They haven't like done anything public in appearance on these projects like since even back then. Like how cool that is. Like you work on something so special that you have people coming up to you like 16 years later and they're like, hey, we're putting like this documentary together about these games that you worked on all these years ago. Would you be interested? And it's like, of course, like they're always going to have that special spot in their heart for it. But All right, we're past the 2-hour mark, and I know that the chat is probably chopping at the bit to do the pinwheel giveaway. So now
before you start, I have to drop the link right in the description below in the chat. I just found it. It's some dude on Steam posted it, s.t.a.l.k.e.r. I just drop it so it doesn't get lost and people actually see this because this is worth checking out. Just drop it. Here, I don't know if I can post links in your chat. But
I see it. I see it.
If you can't do it, just share with the community because this is peak Stalker history. Sorry for interrupting you, but this is highly important.
No, you're good. You're good. Let me pull the chat up. Where's chat doc? Yeah, no, this is cool stuff. All right, boom, there we go.
This channel has a fish which reaches immense sizes. If you throw a loaf of bread into the water, a 3-meter catfish may rise up to the surface. The fish is radioactive and nobody touches it. In such conditions, it reaches gigantic size. Unfortunately, we do not have a loaf of bread at hand, so we proceeded further.
That's amazing. Holy cow. All right, everybody, it is time. Go ahead and throw it in the chat. Let's see the usernames. I'm gonna get this game show music. All right, boys. Let's see. Back over here. Oh, where's the window? Oh, I put it there.
Man, Chidulama is a king for throwing it in for his wife.
Oh, dang. They're coming in quick. I gotta get to the other window and start putting the names. All right. We got Bali. Bali is in. Got over. Got Hercules. Let me see here. We got Hercules. Tunnel 1.
I am in.
Nice.
That's what he said. It is the standard edition, but you will obviously be able to still upgrade your edition should you choose to see fit. Save yourself $60 on a GPU upgrade, boys. Let's go. Like Korshinov said, it's time to get a little extra time to get ready, boys, for the zone. All right, we got names coming in now. Right.
Nice, and we got more people going in. I won't participate since I pre-ordered the game ages ago.
Based.
Not going to steal of other people. Yeah, I was lucky. I pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition before it got more expensive.
Yeah.
All right, we got a good list of names here. I'm gonna give it a minute, see if anybody else wants to hop in here. I'm gonna get the window capture set up.
Yeah. Maybe you can show the names you've got, so that
yeah, getting it up
people
here.
can check if you didn't forget anybody.
Yeah.
All right, it is up here, boys.
Let's see. Is everybody in?
Anybody's not in, just go ahead and sound off and we will add you to the list. Tunnelone said remove me, you sure? Alright. Dreamer, we got Dreamer in here, right?
Zakayev, don't make me feel afraid, man. I'm having a 360 Titan, and if this bad boy doesn't carry Stalker, I will scream.
Gabriel. Alright, let's get him in. Gabriel's in. Can I enter on my wife's behalf? You bet your ass, buddy.
Pro Gamers Company based. That's the mindset.
Super big, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I like how most of us are waiting for those like physical pre-order editions to get charged to our cards, and we're all just like sweating in the meantime. I'm like, yeah, don't screw me, Amazon Germany, please. Krezin's in. All right, Krezin is in. All right, who else we got here? The chat keeps scrolling, so I be missing shit. Hey, Emac, yo, how does Emac know about my tattoo? What? That's crazy, yo. I must know you in real life. I don't recognize the username off the top of my head.
Maybe it's a real stalker, if you catch my drift.
That's meta! Oh, respect. Respect to the stalking. He's outside on my Wi-Fi like, I'm gonna win!
Oh man, this is killing me.
That's so good. Alright, is everybody in? We'll give it a moment. Is everybody in? Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Everybody is in? I'm going right off the usernames since it's in the chat here. You should have made it Raimi on Twitch. You done goofed. It's okay. It's still you. I know it's you. You goofy bastard. I know it's you. All right. All right. Are we ready to spin the wheel of destiny? Who's going to win Stalker 2? Let's find out. There it goes, boys.
Here we go. Okay, let's go.
Oh, man, just went right past you, Raimi. Ooh. Congratulations, Big Gujo. You just won Stalker 2, brother. Congratulations.
Nice.
All right, all right. All right, so we want to confirm the win. Sectores, get this man added on Steam. Make sure that he's good to go. Because, of course, we'll roll the wheel again if we have to, but I don't think so. We should be good. No, he looks like he's ready to rock. This man just won. All right, there you go. All you got to do is go on Sectores' page there. Go ahead and add him in, and you're rocking and rolling, dude. All right. Heck yeah. All right, that's enough copyrighted music. All right, awesome, good stuff, guys. I want to thank you both again for coming here onto the podcast. This is one of my favorite episodes yet. Starian, brother, it is so good to have you on here. Absolute legend of the community, man. Thank you so much, dude.
I'm just a guy in a costume, but I'm very happy to be here.
Dude, you're an absolute gentleman and a scholar. You know it. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for coming here. Obviously, we are 48 hours away to the biggest deep dive into Stalker 2 yet. This is from GSC themselves. This is the big enchilada. This is it, boys. This is it. Mac, I still have that Mustang. Now I'm wondering who the hell you are, because yeah, I still have my old Mustang. You know too much about me. This is weird. Good, you are the shadow of Chernobyl. So let's go. Hell yeah! Thank you guys for coming to the podcast again. We will see you next time. There's going to be plenty more content coming soon, so stay tuned. You can find us always on the 100 Rads bar. Hell yeah. Very soon. Ooh, and that's the thing. We got way more coming after Monday, so let's rock.